All right, Kyle, we are days away now, literally days away from the start of the 29th edition. Oh my gosh, I can't believe 29 already. First off, that number, ooh, what does that bring to mind when you hear you've been doing this the 29th edition already?
Well, when I think of 29, I think I have Kevin Harvick, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot believe that we have done this because I jokingly talk about it all the time. We did it the first year and we thought, man, it'll never get any better. Let's do it again next year. So we did it the second year. And then the third year, we were not going to do it. We waited till the last minute to even do it. And once we got that third one under our belt, we said, let's get to five and then let's get to 10. And next thing you know, here we are at 29. And it is fascinating. I think we probably would have stopped a long time ago, in all honesty. If it hadn't been for Adam's accident, if it hadn't been for Victory Junction, if it hadn't given us a focus and a mission to continue something and continue the thing. Because you just see every year we see what the ride does. And when you see what something you do and you're out there doing, when you see the results, it gives you a lot of hope that if you continue it, it'll continue to do something.
Well, you actually bring up a good point there about with Adam's accident and Victory Junction, a lot of folks connect the ride, of course, to Victory Junction, which came about following Adam's accident. But I want to dig into the background of the ride because this was actually going on for many, many years before even
Yep.
Adam and Victory Junction came along. So, what do you remember about what was it? I guess the first ride would have been 95. So I'm
95.
assuming
Yeah.
so
So
in 94, what do you remember about just how this all came about to begin with?
it came about honestly myself, Harry Gant, Don Tilley, who owns Tilley Harley Davidson Estates, Click Baldwin from Gastonia Harley Davidson, Darian Jolly, Robin Pemberton. There were a number of us that rode from Rockingham out to Phoenix. And that year we were riding along and we picked up some people in Oklahoma City and we picked up Buddy Job and some of that crowd that owned Phoenix, the raceway in Phoenix. We picked them up when we got to Arizona to the border. And I thought, man, what a great idea. Let's do a bike-a-thon. Let's get people to pay us a dime a mile. And we'll just pick up people all the way across country and ride across country. Um, and that was not a good idea. That was a terrible idea. So we thought about it, and we really wanted to ride from California home, and we told people about it, and they told us we were idiots. And finally, we said we're going to do it for charity. We're going to raise some money. We're going to stop at children's hospitals. And that first year, that's what we did. We stopped everywhere. We gave money away. We gave money to a fireman from Huntington Beach to a man and his daughter. The gentleman was confined to a wheelchair, and it was just him and his young daughter. They had been in an accident, and we gave them some money when we got to Phoenix, and that's what we did all the way across country. We just gave checks to people we met along the way. That first year, ESPN followed us, and I think it was myself and Michael Waltrip and Todd Bodine and Jeff Bodine. Tim Fiedel was with us. There were a number of people with us. Anyhow, we surfed in Huntington Beach. We played the Coors Silver Bullets, the women's baseball team. We played a couple innings against them when we got to Phoenix. We roped cows in Texas. I mean, we did something everywhere we went. We did something goofy everywhere we went for ESPN. But it was just fun. We just had a fun time. We had no clue what we were doing. We were just riding motorcycles. It's a far cry today from what it was those first years. But that's the inception, and just fly by the seat of your pants. And like I said, once Adam's accident happened, once we focused on camp, it gave us a mission.
What's been the biggest evolution, as you just said there, it's a far cry from how it started. What's been, Kyle, the biggest evolution you think, or the most important thing that stands out of what you did from year one to what you all are doing now going into the 29th edition?
I think it's been a lot of little things. It's kind of like when you look at NASCAR, and the rule changes that they make every year. They kind of stack on top of each other, and you get to a place, and you're like, okay, collectively, I see what you guys were getting at. And we started a safety course, so every Thursday before we even ride, we for all our new riders, we put them through the paces for a solid day, riding cones, stopping at gas stations, understanding what we do and how we ride. That's a huge part. We don't carry our luggage anymore. We have a luggage team that carries our luggage. So it makes the rider just ride the bike. He doesn't have to worry about carrying luggage for 7 days and everything that goes with that. We're and In the old days, we would stop at a KFC and get a bucket. Now we actually have sit down meals for lunch. So that's a big thing. We have dinners at nice resorts when we get there at night. And it's amazing. And and now today, as we ride across country, mayors actually come out and give us the key to the city instead of the police coming out and escorting us to jail. And the last key we see is when they lock us up, because that's kind of the way it was those first few years. So, I mean, there's been so many things. And my wife, Morgan, has run it for the last, what, 8 or 10 years, 10 or 12 years, really. And when you look at how she has put her touch on it and the evolution of her with the state patrolmen that come with us, the luggage team, the PR team, the things that we've implemented along the way. It's a well-oiled machine now, and which is great for me because I'm back to doing the same thing I did the very first year, just riding a motorcycle, and that's all really I want to do.
Yeah, so why am I talking to you? I should be talking to Morgan. She's the person behind
Exactly.
the operation.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I don't know anything. She sits in a room. She talks to police through every jurisdiction. She talks to all the restaurants, all the gas stations, all the hotels. They know her a lot better. I called a radio station the other day. This is no joke. And the mayor from this town, Clyde, New York, and he and I were on this radio station together. And we talked for a little while. And he said, "Is Morgan there with you?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you put her on the phone? I want to talk to her for a minute." Because he had talked to her so much they had a conversation going, so it was pretty cool.
On that topic of logistics, Kyle, what goes into even just getting to the location of the starting point, right? Because
Yeah.
you're going to start somewhere. So what goes in, shed a little insight into just putting that together.
Okay, so I'll say this: it starts. We go home. This thing ends on May 9th, and then on the 1st of June, Morgan will start planning the next ride, and that's how long it takes. And yeah, listen, you put on the NMPA event. You put and you know what it takes to put on a single event. Well, imagine this. Imagine if you had to do that 3 times a day in 3 different cities that day and then do it 7 days in a row and multiply that out. So you're doing an event every morning, at lunch, and every afternoon. And you have to just plan that out. And it has to be ready when you get there. The food has to be on the table, the gasoline pumps have to be open, everything has to be smooth. You come through town, they need to hold the lights for you so that you don't back up traffic, local traffic, and make everybody mad. So logistically, it is a nightmare. It's a headache. But the way she lays it out and the way she goes about it, where she gets the hotels first, then we get the food second, and you put it in order, then it seems to flow. And listen, and the day she walks in and says that she's not going to do it anymore is the day that I'm selling my motorcycle because I probably won't ever ride again after that.
What goes into these final couple days leading into where the starting location is going to be, getting everybody there,
Yeah.
just logistics around that?
So we were in the parking lot last night. Haul Bike, a company called Haul Bike, they hauled up probably 60 or 70 bikes for us. We unloaded those bikes last night. A group of us did. That comes in. We've had guys trickling in, people trickling in. Maury, Rick Allen, some of those guys they rode up yesterday. They rode in late yesterday afternoon. Some people ride up, some people ship their bikes. Um, Morgan today. We have our meeting with all of our motor marshals and with the local police. We have that in about an hour. We'll sit with them for about an hour and talk about how we get out of town, how far they're going to lead us, when the Michigan State Police will pick us up, and that kind of stuff. So you get into to the really minute and the micromanagement, the little bitty things. They already know we'll be there on Saturday morning for breakfast. They already know where we're going to be in lunch in Alma, Michigan. They already know when we're getting to Dearborn and what our menu is and what we're having there. So it's really just backtracking and going back through and double checking and checking these things off for the third or fourth time. So it is Morgan spends most of her time on the phone during this period of time, and I spend most of my time as a Walmart greeter, greeting people as they come and saying thank you for come, appreciate it, and telling them where to go and how to pick up their bikes.
For you, what are the emotions? Do you get any kind of emotion in these last couple days leading up to the start of a ride every year?
You know what? I don't get I don't. I get excited. Man, I've been excited for a month for this ride because we're going to the Henry Ford Museum. And I can't wait to get there the Wood brothers have so much history there, and with what they've done with Ford, and that's cool. And then we're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we're going to Niagara Falls, and we're going to Watkins Glen, and we're going to Bedford Springs in Pennsylvania to the Omni there. There's just so many cool things about this ride this year. The emotional part comes at the end, and I tell people this because it's a funny group of people. Some of these people, there's three of us, I think, that have ridden all 29 years. There's probably another 10 or 12 that have ridden at least 25 years, which is fascinating to me that these people give, a week for 25 years in a row. These people have given a week of their lives to go and do this. And it's a funny thing where it's you talk to these people and then it just ends. It just ends from Friday to Saturday. They go home, you go home. But then a year later, you come back and you pick up the conversation in the same place. You talk about the same things you were talking about before, and it's a little bit bittersweet towards the end. So you get emotional about that because you're going to miss these people for a year. Even though you'll be in touch with them and you'll call them and talk to them, you just miss being around them. It's like going to summer camp and making good friends, and then you got to say goodbye at the end of summer camp, and that's kind of what this is, a summer camp for adults.
All right, so you mentioned some of the highlights of what's to come on this ride. What goes into choosing the route every year, Kyle? Because it's a little bit different, right? You don't
Yes,
want
yes.
to do the same thing over and over. What's the amount of work? Who chooses that? How do you sit down and decide what route you're going to take?
So yeah, we take input from everybody. At the end of this ride, we'll send out a questionnaire. What do you like about the ride? And would you rate the food? How do you rate the fuel stops? How do you rate all this stuff? Where would you like to go next year? Next year's our 30th. So we're trying, we've been working on that for a little while. We already know what we're going to do on that one. I'm not going to divulge it right now, but you have to plan ahead for the big ones. But so last year when we sent stuff out, Traverse City was in the top two or three for a lot of people who sent back in their surveys. We'd been to Traverse City back in 2008, I think, and everybody had a great time up here. So it was like, okay, let's see where Traverse City takes us. And I love the Henry Ford Museum, so I'm like, okay, it takes us to Detroit. Oh my gosh, I love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That connects there. So once we got to Cleveland, it was like every year, every year, I promise you, since we started the ride and started talking about this, people have wanted to go to Niagara Falls. So this gave us an opportunity to go to Niagara Falls and check that off. Once you get to Niagara Falls, you got to go to Watkins Glen. I can't go to New York, upstate New York, and not go to Watkins Glen. And then we just tried to find our way back home. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge on how we do things. A lot of years we'll pick our beginning point and our end point, and we'll just connect the dots in between. And it's not rocket science. If it was, obviously I wouldn't be doing it. It's pretty simple. I tell people a lot of times I just throw a dart at a map, and wherever the dart sticks, that's where we're going to start. And then we try to get as close back home as we can. So that's kind of the way it is. But it has been we take the suggestions from the riders because they're the ones they've seen stuff and done stuff and been places we haven't. So I'll take their advice every day.
Well, when it comes to places that you haven't been, I'm sure, I imagine there's got to be something or some place you, Kyle, have thought about you want to go. Are there still any of those on your list?
Oh, there's tons. Yeah, there's tons of places. Listen, we have ridden back and forth. I've ridden back and forth across this country a million times, it seems like. And there's still places. A number of years ago, we're riding along, and I knew, and this is the greatest story. Morgan and I were riding, we're doing a site inspection, and we're riding along, and I was like, man. Darwin, Minnesota. I know there's something here. What is it? What is it? What is it? And all of a sudden, it dawned on me. The world's largest ball of twine is in Darwin. And we stopped and got off the road and found the world's largest ball of twine, assembled by one man. There's one in Kansas that's big, but this is a ball of twine assembled by. And we took the whole ride to see the world's largest ball of twine. We're in Traverse City, Michigan. They have the world's largest pie pan in Traverse City, Michigan. And we went and had our picture taken with it the other day. So the point is, there's always things to see. Man, this whether it's quirky, whether it's the Grand Canyon or the Badlands or the Okefenokee Swamp, it makes no difference. There's always something to see. So for me, there's still plenty of states that we haven't explored totally, and I'm open for any of that.
You had joked earlier that, the day Morgan says she doesn't want to plan it anymore is the day that you'll sell the motorcycle. But in all seriousness, can you imagine or even think about how long can this go on? How long can this ride keep going for folks and making a difference?
So I'll say this. So my dad's 87 and he's riding this year. And Herschel McGriff went with us last year and he was 96. So I'm 65. So what's that give me? 30 more years? So yeah, I can go at least another 30. Listen, I'm planning on making it to 100, and I may not be on a trike, but I'm going to get a sidecar bike. I can tell you that. So that I can take the kids with me and we can ride. But it can go for forever. And listen, I hope it goes forever because here's the point. It doesn't have to be the Kyle Petty charity ride. Just as long as there's people riding, and they're helping other people and they're helping to raise funds for camp and send kids to camp. That's all that matters. This can turn into the Victory Junction ride. It can turn into Kelly Crandall's ride. It can be your ride. I don't care as long as it sends kids to camp.
The numbers are easy for folks to go and find, and I highly recommend checking out the website. And it gives great breakdowns of the number of riders and miles, and of course, the amount of money raised over the years, which the last I checked, I think it was over $22 million. What is the one thing, if there is one thing, Kyle, that comes to mind of what you are the most proud of, or the one thing that is so special about this to you that maybe other folks wouldn't even think about or wouldn't even know?
So I think the thing that's the most special to me, I think there's a couple of things. Um, Listen, I've been riding a motorcycle. My dad bought me my first motorcycle when I was like 5.5 years old, a little dirt bike. And I've ridden my whole life. And I love motorcycles. And I love motorcycle people. Anybody that rides, I don't care what you ride, just ride, man. Just ride. And there's something about motorcycles. I tell people this all the time. I could get in a car in North Carolina and drive from there all the way to California and stop at a gas station and fill up or stop at a Cracker Barrel and eat. And yeah, I would talk to the waitress to order something, or I may talk to the attendant at the gas station, as they were checking me out. But you never have a conversation with anybody. You ride a motorcycle, you pull into a gas stop, you're going to have a conversation with somebody. Somebody's going to come over and say, "My dad's got a bike like that. I had a brother that had a bike like that." Oh my God, you're from North Carolina, and here we are in Missouri. You've ridden this thing all the way from North Carolina. They'll have a conversation. So the people you meet with a bike and the people you meet on a bike, is a special. But I tell you what, when I look at the ride and I look at the people of the ride. They're just incredibly special people. Um, but to think that just because we enjoy that and we have a passion for that, that one child gets to go to camp, that one child that never thought they would be on a ropes course, that one child that never thought they would catch a fish, that one child that never thought they would be able to ride a horse has that opportunity. That's just what it's all about. And that's how simple it is. So we didn't start riding motorcycles to change the world, but if we affect one single child, I think that's what I'm most humbled by is being having that opportunity to be able to do that.
I like how you say that. That's excellent. I got a couple more things for you. On the ride, take us under the helmet. Literally, take us under the helmet, Kyle. What's going on under there? Are you listening to satellite radio? You got some music going? What's it like to be on this ride? To be on that
So
motor?
everybody knows I play guitar, and I write music. So I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry about that. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock, and play guitar from 5 until 6, and then I work out from 6 until like 7:30 or so, and I do that every day. So when you're on the motorcycle, you don't get a chance to play your guitar, and you don't get a chance to write. But I have done this for so many years. I write music while I'm on my motorcycle. And what I do is while I'm riding along, I'm singing to myself or I'm humming or I'm doing something. And I'll take a Sharpie and I write on the gas tank. I'll write lyrics on the gas tank. And I just write them down, write them down, write them down. And then when I get where I'm going, I take a little book out of my backpack or out of my tour pack and I write down all the lyrics with a pencil into my book, and then I take gasoline, I wipe off the gas tank, and it's like a whiteboard. It's your own personal whiteboard. So the whole time I'm riding, I am focused on what? I'm multitasking a little bit. I will say that. I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. That's not why ride a motorcycle. I don't ride to be able to do business. I don't ride to talk on the phone. There should be no phones on motorcycles. That should be rule number one. Big circle with a red line through it. That should be number one. I do listen to music every now and then. I listen to podcasts every now and then. But mostly, I just live somewhere inside my head, somewhere inside that helmet, and write stuff down and write how I feel about things, and try to find that Zen moment and come to peace with the world.
I love that. All right, let's remind everybody and give them some details for this ride. It begins very soon in a couple days, as I said, May 3rd. It'll go through May 9th. What are some of the details everybody needs to know as we get ready to see you guys off?
Okay, so we leave May 3rd from Traverse City, Michigan. The first night we end up in Dearborn, Michigan. We go to the Henry Ford Museum the next morning. Then we go down to Cleveland. And then following morning, we go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, spend 4 or 5 hours. Then we go up to Niagara Falls. We're going to spend an off day in Niagara Falls. So if you're in that area, come out and say hello to us. Then we're going over to Corning and to Watkins Glen, make a lap around the racetrack, go to the Corning Museum of Glass, and have a nice dinner there in Corning. Then we go down to Bedford Springs to the Omni there in Bedford, Pennsylvania, and then we go to the Homestead. Our route is on KylePettyCharityRide.com or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find out where we're going to be. And if we pass your area, we want you to come out. Come out and say hello to my dad. He's on the ride. Kenny Wallace, Kenny Schrader, Rick Allen's on the ride, Herschel Walker, NFL superstar Max Pappas is on the ride, Bill Davidson, a great grandson of the founders of Harley Davidson. He's on the ride with us. Rutledge Wood, he's on the ride with us. So come out and have your photo taken and do that. But just follow us on the ride. Follow us on any of the social media that's out there.
That was going to be my last question. Where and how fans can get involved? Maybe if they can't come out and see you all, what are other ways people can get involved with this?
Yeah, if you can't come out and see us, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Twitter. If you want to buy a T-shirt from us, call the office there. Look it up on the website. We've got hats, T-shirts, decals, all kinds of stuff like that. All that money goes straight to camp. Every T-shirt we sell, all that money goes straight to camp. The hats go straight to camp. Everything, any donation you would like to send goes straight to camp. It's just a pass through. We're just a pass through for it. So you can follow us, find out where we're going to be and hopefully see some of the crazy stuff that goes on. We'll have put up videos every day on things that happened that day, fun things, things we saw, and you'll get to know some of the riders because we do interviews with them as you go, so you'll get to know some special people.
All right. I'll be watching from afar. I'll be following. Good luck. Be safe, my friend.
Thank you very much.